Hello, everybody. I am the Majestic Mermoose, and today we are doing another one of our interview streams. And I have quite the lovely guest who is glowing a very nice shade of green. Please ignore the green. It is more because of a lore reason
It's
that
the
they are.
radioactivity.
Yes, they this person emits radioactivity, so I might be in danger. Guys,
Well,
save me,
I
please.
thought, you're half moose, half fish. I mean, I thought something was already going on there.
I always said it was magic. It wasn't an experiment. No, guys. Uh,
Oh,
but
that's okay. I'm magic too.
would you mind introducing yourself?
Sure. My name is Katrina Cheshire, also known as KatTheCheshireMouse. I am a librarian, storyteller, and mouse girl and friend of the Fae. I run a magical library with doors to other worlds. Every door is a new story, and I do reading streams and story-driven games.
And that actually is quite the interesting intro. I think you might be the first librarian that I have interviewed, I believe.
Yeah?
So,
Well, that's cool.
now, may I ask you a question that's off topic from my usual, but kind of at least like to get a little preliminary going with this. Why librarian? Why go with that type of magical library?
Mostly because I'm a total book nerd.
I
I love
see.
libraries. I love books. And libraries are just, all around important. And I figured this was also a way to help promote not only reading, but libraries in general, because they're about more than books. They're actually one of the last third places that we have, places where community can gather, places for kids to go when they don't have, community centers and things like that anymore. People look for jobs at libraries. So yeah, libraries are still really important. And I saw that as a way to promote just how completely magical a library can be.
Very, very interesting answer there, actually. I really enjoyed that. Um,
Too.
Now, then, I have to ask, do you have a collection of books or almost a pseudo library of your own?
Oh yeah, I've run out of shelf space.
Me too. But
I
I feel like we have
yeah.
different books, but me too.
Oh, I have all kinds of books, but yeah, I ran out of shelf space. I started actually getting these floating shelves
Mm-hmm.
where it looks like a stack of books is just hanging on the wall. And for my voice acting, I use them as sort of acoustic sound blocks, to just instead of actually getting the things for the wall, I just use my books because they work.
Ooh, you're making me jump all over the place. Now I kind of almost want to even segue into the voice acting thing, but
If you want to.
uh, no, I think I might redirect a little bit back to how I normally start these and just get the audience to understand how you ended up here in the first place. Might I ask, how did we meet in the first place?
How did we meet? You actually rated me once.
Ooh, I see.
Yeah, you rated me. And then you showed up in my streams a few more times, and then I came to a few of yours. So, yeah, that's how it happened.
Yes. I mean, you were actually have a very, very interesting You have a very
Sorry
interesting
about
dog. I enjoy the pet in the background. Yep. Don't worry. Everyone heard that. It's fine. Honestly,
Yeah,
very adorable dog.
they are. They're just rats. So sorry everyone. Let me try to calm them down real quick.
May I ask what type of dog?
The neurotic one, Sammy, he's a poodle. Ursa's a mixed breed. So we really don't know what she is. Basically, a friend of mine had 2 strays that he had taken in. No idea what they were either. And they had puppies, and he was getting rid of the puppies, and he gave me one of the puppies. And that was Ursa. We picked her because we thought she'd be the most chill, and she looked like a little teddy bear, so we called her Ursa. She is not very chill.
I see.
She has her moments, but she likes to play rough and Sammy is not very not a rough and tumble kind of guy. Like I said, very neurotic. He gets seizures. So yeah, he's got epilepsy. Poor pup. But
I'm not
and
gonna
he's a
lie.
graying old man.
I took that as a joke when you said the dog is very rough, like rough.
Oh.
Like a dog. Yes, I
Not intentional, but it works.
okay. What is your opinion on that kind of humor in the first place? I'm just
Oh.
curious.
It's very punny. I enjoy it.
I appreciate someone who can at least appreciate a pun. I don't tend to go out of my way to like make super bad puns all the time, but like sometimes when it's just presented in front of me, it's like you kind of have to.
When they work, they work.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
I used to hate them, but then I don't know, they just started popping up in all the right places, and I was like, you know what? They're not so bad when they're not driven into the ground, you know?
don't overuse them, and yeah, they might be appreciated just a little bit more.
Yep.
Now, I must ask, just because you have this like amazing kind of like yin yang type thing going on, not just with your drink but with your colors. Any reason for the purple and blue like split down the middle type?
You're gonna be disappointed. They're literally just my favorite colors.
Well, we basically already answered one of the questions later on, guys.
I mean, the fact that there are two colors is representative of the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland. But I didn't want to go with the exact same colors from like the Disney version or American McGee's Alice or anything like that. And I thought, purple and blue are my favorite colors, and they suit. So, I just ran with it.
So now I must ask then, thoughts on Alice in Wonderland? Like, I feel like it's got to be like you love it, but...
Literally one of my favorite books ever.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Chat, what do you feel about Alice in Wonderland? Also, chat, feel free to ask any questions you like, and we will address them as we see fit. But, yes, Alice in Wonderland. I know that, like, once again, this is off topic, but I'm curious.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Yes, I am getting curiouser and curiouser. Do you have a favorite character in Alice in Wonderland?
Oh, gosh. That's a tough one. There are a few that I'm particularly fond of. I love the Dormouse.
Ooh.
I love the Cheshire Cat. The Mad Hatter is wonderful.
Of course.
There's a scene towards the beginning of the book where Alice and all of the animals who had been caught in the flood of her tears are they're trying to get dry, and there's a little mouse there that I always remember. He's one of my favorites. This little guy, he's like, I have the perfect way for us all to get dry, and he launches into this really dry lecture like that was gonna do the trick. I love that little guy too. And when I read it for the first time, it was after I had seen the Disney version, and I recognized his little speech because it's from the history book. That if you've ever seen the Disney version, not the live action, but the animated.
Yep.
If you've ever seen it, at the very beginning, Alice is being given a history lesson by her older sister, and she's complaining because the book doesn't have any pictures in it, and the speech is in that book that she's reading to her. It's the same speech that the mouse gives.
That's actually really cool. Really cool details. The more you learn, guys. This is going to be an educational interview, so I hope you're all prepared for that. So we've kind of gotten at least a little bit on how your design is a bit based, but how about we go back a little bit before that, and what inspired you to become a streamer in the first place?
I'm pretty shy. I'm kind of a bashful person, so it wasn't going to be something that I would have thought of doing like my live face on camera. That would have been too nerve-wracking. But my husband kept sending me all of these videos of a certain VTuber, and this was when VTubing first caught my attention. It was Silvervale. I believe before she joined V Shoujo, when she was independent. Before, I know she's independent again, but I just thought like all of the dance videos she did were really neat, and I'll be honest. When she was not doing the dance videos, when she was actually just gaming and talking, I was not as interested. um, I tend not to. It takes a lot for me to hold my attention on a stream, because I have ADHD and my mind will wander like very very easily. So a lot of times they're just background noise, but I don't know. Just her voice is lovely, but it was very very high pitched, and I was like, I can't listen to this all day. Um, but then when I'd watch her dance videos, I'd suddenly get interested again. I was like, but how do I do this? And I didn't think there was any way I could do it myself. There was just, it just the technical barriers alone. I didn't know about Vroid Studio at the time. I didn't know you could make your own. I thought you had to have like some very expensive artist make your model, and I was thinking, this is going to cost thousands upon thousands of dollars. There's no way I can do it. And then someone sent me a TikTok video of a creator who made Vroid models and showed you how to do it. And I tried doing it myself, and I couldn't manage the hair. So I reached out to that creator, Hello Mimi's, and commissioned her to make my model. So she made my first model. So,
Ooh.
Yep.
Is this then your first model?
This is my first model. Yes,
Ooh.
I have another 3D that is it's a little chibi model that was made by Angrily. I won that one in a raffle, and I have a 2D model that's currently being rigged. It was made by Nimue, and I absolutely adore it. I showed you the picture of it yesterday with the with the fairy wings and everything. I can't wait to be able to use it. I think that's going to happen soon, but I don't want to promise because, things are coming along with the rigging, but it's a new rigger, and she's learning as she goes. And I won rigging, so I was like, I'm going to be as patient as possible with this. So yeah, I can't give you guys an exact date, but I can't wait to show it to you either.
I can say from looking at it, it is very pretty. I think it is a very nice upgrade, if I do say so myself. Not that like this design is what like drew me to you in the first place. Like it's honestly, I really like, I said, the dichotomy of this, like with like that of the purple blue like split. Really enjoy that. But no, like I feel like this next design is like the logical evolution of what you're going for, and I really can't wait for everyone else to see it as well.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I tried to keep some elements just as a callback. Like there are striped stockings. You can't see them right now. But like sometimes when I show my full model, I have striped stockings on. And I kept the stripy pattern to the stockings. And of course, there's the elements of the purple and blue, but in different shades. And but yeah, I wanted some things to call back to it, even though to this model, even though it's a brand new model, and I kind of wanted to go in a slightly different direction to more lean into my lore. So
of course,
yeah.
And as much as I understand that it would be nice to show off like your stockings and whatnot, please do not stand on the seat. I would appreciate that. Also, don't want to show any feet to anybody in the chat who might like that. You know who you are. You know who
Oh
you are.
my goodness.
Sorry. Had to spice it up a little bit. Now,
sometimes you have to. But don't worry, I lose my balance very easily. I'm not fond of standing on chairs.
Gotcha. So what you're saying is that's a little bit of a challenge for you, a little bit of difficulty.
Oh yeah. I'm notoriously clumsy.
Perfect. Then, speaking of difficulties, were there any difficulties or unexpected challenges when you first started streaming?
Oh, I don't want to say that I'm completely technologically inept, but I am much slower with that stuff. My husband Bento will tell you that I am a brilliant person in most respects, but you stick me in front of something technical and I just shut down. And it took me a little while because I would only stream when he was home, because if anything went wrong, I was like panicking. Oh my gosh. He's like, you got to learn how to do this on your own. So I spent a lot of time just playing around with OBS. I tried using Streamlabs for a little while. And while, Streamlabs, it's supposedly easier, I felt like it was a lot buggier, and I had a lot more problems with it than I actually had with OBS, so I switched back. I haven't learned to do anything particularly fancy with OBS yet, but I'm happy I can just do the basic setup on my own at this point.
Well, honestly, I wouldn't say I'm great. I wouldn't say I'm bad, but I wouldn't say I'm great with technology. Definitely something I would want to work with a bit more and get a little bit better at. So I completely understand the struggle and difficulty having that to start out with. And but it's also impressive in itself that you were able to, just be able to figure some of it out and learn from the processes. So yeah.
A lot of Googling. Google, I'm very fond of saying Google is your friend, because I get asked a lot of questions. I have kids. They're grown ass kids now, but but I would always get asked questions, and I'm like, guys, Google is your friend. I am not an encyclopedia. I know I seem like one sometimes, but I don't know everything. Use Google.
Guys,
I still, and I say it to other people all the time. They're like, well, how do you do such as? I'm like, dude, Google's your friend. I don't get paid to teach you.
Yes.
I mean, I try to be nice most of the time, but I don't know. I kind of consider that to be nice, because we have all of these tools at our disposal to broaden our horizons and to learn new things. So, I mean, it's doing you a disservice if I always just give you the easy way out. It's doing me a disservice if I always give me the easy way out and just ask somebody else, hey, how do I do this? I might ask for guidance occasionally, but yeah, Google's your friend. And yeah, YouTube too. Absolutely.
Yes.
And I feel you on Streamlabs there, Pendragon. Yeah.
I agree. Mm-hmm. Our Google overlords are our friend, 100%. No, I mean that in all seriousness. Like, Google is a great source of information. Like, nowadays, if you ever have a question about anything, one of the first things to do is either look up the information on Google or watch a video on how to do it on YouTube. Like, those are kind
you
of
have
the
to be
default
careful with Google now because of the AI not always being terribly reliable. But I like to skip past the AI stuff, and I just look for the good stuff.
I see. Huh. Well, so we kind of are led into the next question almost exactly, because we're talking about how helpful Google and YouTube are. Well, I was going to say, what were some of the most helpful things when you started streaming?
Oh, well, they're honestly watching other creators, especially other VTubers, and the ones, not just the ones who actually do like instructional videos and stuff, although those were the most helpful. But basically just getting a feel for how streaming in general went, because I was not a big watcher of streams before I started streaming myself. I was usually reading.
I see.
So, I mean, like, if I wasn't reading, I was playing a game. So that's how I spend my off time. I'd occasionally watch TV, but not nearly as much as I did as a kid. So, yeah, I was not watching streams too very often. Because most of the streamers that I knew about, because as far as I knew, streaming was all about, you watch somebody else play a game. And I'm like, I don't want to watch someone else play a game. I want to play the game myself. But then I was introduced to just chatting streamers and the wide variety that are out there. And when I first started doing reading streams, I didn't realize there were other creators doing reading streams, and I felt really on the one hand I felt really kind of like cocky about it. I was like, yeah, look at this, I'm doing something kind of unique. And then on the other I was like, but it's kind of lonely because nobody wants to listen to me read. But then I found all these other creators who do it, and I was like, oh, that's actually really kind of cool. And so I made friends with several other creators some of them who are still streaming, some not so much. But yeah, a lot more librarians out there than you'd think. Librarians and professors and teachers, yeah, lots of those.
Well, actually, yeah, no, that honestly, reading streams and stuff, they are very like a relaxing thing. Like I have a person that I interviewed, I think there were 2 people ago, 3 people, something like that.
Yeah.
They also do like a reading stream it's either every week or like every other week, but I just turn that on at work and I'm just like, that's a nice thing to have just going on in the background, and it, it just
It is,
kind of,
yeah.
it makes everything feel just like so much better. So
Ooh, and Wispy V joined. Hi, Wispy. Wispy V is actually the artist that did my emotes.
ooh,
So
hi Wispy.
yeah.
Hi. You do an amazing job with emotes, by the way. I've seen.
She really does.
Yes. And something then I want to say that is like, do you have a favorite emote? Because I definitely do. I have one, but I don't know why.
Gosh.
It's just by default that I use all the time. And it's whenever I go into someone's stream at this point, I just use this to like basically say hello. It's just a tail wag.
My favorite here, let me find my favorite one. Oh, it's kind of a toss up between these two.
Ooh.
Here.
Okay.
I love both of those.
The love.
Now,
and the blood.
Now, my friend King had actually commissioned an emote for me from a different artist. But you may have seen this one. This one's also kind of fun.
Ooh, that one is pretty cute.
Yeah.
So, would you say you can dance?
Can I dance? Actually, surprisingly, despite how clumsy I am, yeah. I actually used to belly dance. An intermediate level, not terribly advanced, but yeah, I used to do that all the time.
Chat, remember, feel free to check out the belly dancing librarian, please. Yes. Chat.
If I could find a way to get my model to do that, Bento would be over the moon. He loves that, but
I should have done this at the start of stream. I forgot to, but yes, everyone, please go follow Kat. By the way, go check out Kat and potential future reading stream with belly dancing. Just throwing that out there. It'll get. I think that might get people's attention. No,
might draw in the viewers. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll have a whole new army of crumpets.
Oh my. But make sure you pay attention. There will be a quiz. Sorry.
I do.
That.
Don't worry, guys. I do lots of recaps between reading streams. So if you forget anything, I'll remind you. You'll pass. It'll be fine.
That actually sounds really helpful. Like that sounds like something that's like for those who either miss part of the stream or like they missed the previous to get like a little bit of a recap of what happened.
Yeah. At first, I didn't even honestly think to do it, but one of my frequent viewers at the time, who had recommended a very good book that I hadn't read, Franklin Washington. He doesn't really stream anymore, but he had recommended the book The Castle of Otranto, as it was actually the first Gothic novel. It's widely regarded as the first Gothic novel. And because we were reading a lot of Poe at the time, because it was around Halloween. And it's a really good book. And I had never heard of it. And so we read that one, and it took us maybe 2 or 3 streams to get through it. And he's like, hey, Kat, how about a recap from the last stream? I was like, oh, gosh, I didn't even think about doing that. So it just became a habit now, which, I think it's a good habit, because it's like when you're in between episodes of TV that it's been a few weeks because there was a hiatus, and you come back and you're wanting to watch the show, but you're like, what the hell happened last episode? I don't even remember. So, the recap is really helpful.
Oh. No, I mean, I completely agree with that. Like, 100%. Like, things that just, like, things that kind of give you a recap, keep it fresh in your mind. Like, nowadays, I understand, like, people can binge shows and stuff on, like, streaming services. But, like, honestly, streams do come out. I mean, not streams. Shows still do come out, like, week to week and stuff on, like, certain platforms or, like,
Yeah.
actually like TV. And like, yeah, I mean, watching that, like getting the recap is incredibly helpful and stuff like that. Especially like with everyone having their busy lives, they don't know if they'll even be able to like remember what last happened. It'll take them like the first like 5-10 minutes of the episode to be like, oh yeah, that's what's going on.
Yeah, or they'll split the season in half. So you get the first half of the
Oh,
season, and then it's going to be like a month or two before you get the second half. And you're like, do I need to binge it again? And they're like, no, no, here's a recap. You're good.
we appreciate that. Huh.
Right?
Now,
So yeah, it helps.
so one thing that I kind of wanted to lean into a little bit is because you've been streaming. Actually, how long have you been streaming? I'm actually slightly curious about that.
September of 2021.
Oh wow, so you have been around the block for a little bit then with streaming.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, Wispy says she's a double binger. She'll binge it again and again. I do sometimes when I have the time, but you know, then I have my little ADHD like lockdowns. Like today, I knew I had this, and so I spent all day trying to make myself do other things and then doing nothing, just waiting. And I was like, I could have probably watched a couple of shows I wanted to catch up on, but I was like, but what if I lost track of time? So I'm just gonna sit here and twiddle my thumbs. No, I watched a lot of TikTok and did some studying for my voice acting classes, and that's about it.
That actually sounds like a really good time. Then
It was.
So I was going to try and segue this next question in a little bit of a creative way, but I'm going to just choose to be more direct with it. Do you have any goals that you are currently working towards or next big milestones? They don't have to necessarily be streaming related.
Well, I mean, as much as I would love to have more streaming related goals, I'm actually kind of moving more towards doing more with voice acting. I'm currently working on getting all of my commercial samples ready, and an audiobook sample. I do already have a professionally produced radio imaging sample, and I'm building my website for it. I've done one job like professionally, but it was basically I did voiceover for TikTok videos done by a pest control company, which is kind of ironic because I loathe bugs. They terrify me. But I was like, but I'm in a Discord server with a bunch of other voice actors, and we learn from my coach, who does TikTok videos and stuff like that. That's how I actually got into voice acting. Was I connected with her, and yeah, he just dropped the job in the chat one day, and he said, "You know what? I usually do this, but I'm losing my voice right now. Does anyone want to do this once for me? And you may be able to do it again in the future if they like you." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So yeah, I ended up actually getting my first job last month. So it was kind of neat.
Congratulations! Yeah. Let's go. Chad, can we get a congratulations? But no, so because of the like all the voice acting and like the Discord you're in, does that mean opportunities like this come up a bit more often, or is this was this kind of just more of a rare occurrence then? Because it kind of sounds a little like both.
It's kind of okay. It's kind of both. In the server, those opportunities don't come up very often. They're very occasional, but there are links to resources in there that different places. If you were more of a hobbyist, you can get low paying to free jobs on places like Casting Call Club. There's an account on Twitter that posts paid casting calls, so you can do. It's mostly indie projects, not all, but mostly indie projects, and so those are lower budget. So they don't pay a whole lot, but they're really great for when you're trying to first get into it. So yeah, I mean, like there are a lot of different sources for jobs, but if you're in commercial, it's actually encouraged that you go out and find the jobs yourself. Instead of auditioning for things, you actually get on something like LinkedIn, and you contact people with various job titles that look like they might be in charge of doing something like doing e-learning or commercial work or stuff like that, and you see like they might post a video highlighting their product, and you tell them, you know how you could make that video better? You'd actually get a lot more impressions if you had voiceover in your video. Here, let me throw together a quick demonstration for you, and this is free for you to use, and if you want me to work for your company in the future, hit me up and we'll work out the details.
Ooh.
And that's apparently really, that's more and more common these days, and I'm still learning that.
Ooh.
Because again, shy person, getting myself to just like do things like that it's an adjustment, but I'm getting there. So right now I'm learning to craft the perfect email for these things, because it can be kind of tricky, because you don't want to sound too dry or boring. You can't make it sound like a form letter. You've got to sound like, you can give them exactly what they need right now, and you're just making their entire life so much easier. And that is really, it's like, but how do I do that? But I'm learning, because my coach is really, really good at this, and so she's teaching me. So little at a time, I'm getting better and better at it.
No, I mean, that's actually like very admirable, and I'm wishing you the absolute best with that. I'm hoping that everything turns out really well with your voice acting career, and when you make it big, please remember all the people along the way, just saying. But
I could never forget you all. You guys are great. Thank you.
Now, going a little bit back towards streaming, but I guess yeah, I guess this would be more towards a streaming type question.
Sure.
What is one of your favorite moments from streaming?
Oh my gosh. It's literally the only TikTok video I've ever done. It was early. I was playing Yakuza 0, and
okay.
And there is a sub story in Yakuza 0 where you find a dominatrix who doesn't know how to be a dominatrix, and you have to teach her. But you go to a public park, and I'm pretty sure it was Zombro. It's almost always Zombro that asks the questions that get me in trouble. But somebody asked me, said, "What's the matter, Kat? Have you never done S&M before?" And I was like, "Not in a public park, no." And I was like, "Shit, I think I said too much." That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. It just meant that this is a very inappropriate place for this. And they're like, yeah. I was like, let's just keep going. And I just kind of tried to put that behind me, but that moment got clipped, and so I had to make a TikTok of it.
Gotcha. So
but that's literally the only one I have right now. Because it's my entire creative career, if you want to call it that, has been one slow adjustment after another to doing something technical that I didn't do before. So I'm working on things like video and sound editing still. But that one was easy to do, so I just threw it up there, and I was like, all right, here you go.
Gotcha. So what I've learned here from all of this together is that potential S&M behind the scenes. Got it. Nope. Understood.
No.
Got it.
No.
Chat, yes. Can we get some art, please? Here, I'm not going to make it too weird, but you could always just put a collar here, give her like a chain and a whip. Nope. Okay, nope. We're done. We're moving on.
Well, I mean, I do have a mommy dom redeem that gets used occasionally.
You're making it worse now.
No, but I figured that's my job.
To make it worse?
To make it worse. I mean, it's funny when it's worse.
Oh. Well, chat, the stream might be going somewhere a little bit weirder than we were expecting. But, if you're into that, feel free to stay. No.
Wispy, if you follow that up with "I have an apple," we're going to have words after this stream. She said, "I have a pen."
Oh, man. You have a very fun and interesting community. I can say that. So,
I do. I really do.
Now, one thing then, before I move on to what I like to consider the fun time, fight me, cat. Let's go. Uh, well, one thing I wanted to add before moving
She
on
lives
to.
in my house, so I could.
Oh, Wispy lives in your house. Oh,
Yeah, she lives in my house, so I could.
oh,
She'd probably beat me though.
good to know. Good to know. Um, but yes, one thing I wanted to add before we move on to my fun time section of the interview.
Oh,
Is there a dog in the house? Yes. Who let the
there
dogs
are,
out?
in fact. There are three.
Who let the
Hey,
dogs out? Sorry, guys, I had to
Sam.
make the joke.
Sorry about that, guys. I think someone might be coming home, and that might be why they're so
Oh no.
agitated. Yeah. But any second now, the door will open, a person will walk through, and they'll calm down because they'll realize that person lives here. Come here.
Don't worry, guys. The dogs will disappear eventually. But
Oh.
one thing I wanted to ask you is there any advice you would give your past self or new streamers?
Yeah, don't be afraid to try new things. I mean, just, I know a lot of, especially the technical stuff is really, really intimidating for some of us. But like, I mean, give yourself time to play with it. Um, I tried to jump in a little faster than I probably should have. I probably should have taken some time to learn the stuff in advance. And so I've been learning as I go, which isn't bad. It isn't the worst, but I think I would have had a lot more confidence early on if I had practiced the technical stuff in advance. So yeah, give yourself time and space to learn. Play. Just if you because if you're doing it before you start streaming and you break something, well, you have time to fix it. When it breaks midstream, it's more of a problem. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah,
I've had issues midstream before, so I can relate very much.
yeah. My chat calls me the Scuff Queen because things happen in my stream all the time, and I'm like, guys, I'm sorry. Let me fix this. I can't tell you how many times I have streamed about like 15, 20 minutes before someone finally says, Kat, we can't hear you. I'm like, what?
I,
And I and at first it was stuff like, like I didn't realize that my microphone was still muted, but other times like OBS would like switch what the input device was, and it's like, but I don't even have anything like that connected. What is this? So, or some other setting got switched around and nobody could hear me, and I'd have to troubleshoot that midstream. um, it especially is prone to happening if I take a break, if I'm away for a little while and I come back, and then I'm like, well, everything's just how I left it. I'll just launch right into stream, and OBS has completely different ideas. So yeah.
Yep, no, the OBS can be a bit finicky at times. Trust me, I know from experience as well. You say they call you the Scuff Queen. I'm surprised after everything we've heard so far. It's not the Scuff
I know, right?
Mommy. It could be Scuff Mommy, But
Well, the Mommy Dumb Redeem came later.
the Scuff came first,
It was
of course.
the Scuff came first. Yeah, that honestly is relatively new, and it was something Bento suggested. He's like, you can do. He's like, that voice you do sometimes. I'm like, what? He's like, when you're scolding people. And I'm like, oh. He's like, yeah, that one's pretty hot. Do that. And I'm like, I can't do that the whole stream. And he's like, you can for a redeem. So I was like, all right, fine.
So
that became a thing. Yeah, more often than not, it's again Zombro who redeems it because he's a troublemaker.
Don't worry, chat. Chat, you all know we are incredibly say-so on this stream here. Yep. There's nothing going to be said that could be taken in any wrong contents whatsoever. Nope.
Yeah, I've been there before, dude. My first 3 months streaming, I kept insisting I was say-so, and I kept getting told I wasn't. And then that clip happened, and there was no going back.
Yeah, no. I think I straight up from the start basically said I was not say-so. So,
I
Yeah.
didn't know. I thought that was the big thing when I first started. I thought that was the big thing in VTubing, that everybody was say so. You had to be say so if you wanted to be a VTuber, because like Hololive, they were all very, very say so. I didn't even have any clue what a lewd tuber was until I'd been streaming for about 3 weeks. Then I was like, whoa. I was like, wow, you can get away with that on Twitch? Really?
Wow.
Dude, I went the wrong direction. But no, it's not really my thing. I'll make the occasional joke here and there, but no, I couldn't do it consistently enough to call myself a YouTuber, because I just laugh like the whole time. It's not that LewdTubers can't be funny. One of my favorite VTubers is a LewdTuber, and she's wonderful. And she's funny as fuck, but like it's one thing to be funny, and it's another to be laughing so hard you can't actually create any content. So it doesn't work for me. It works for other people great, but not so much for me.
No, I completely relate to that. I don't know if I could pass as. I mean, well, also, I don't really have the model for a lewd tuber either. So, I mean, there might be some people that are into that, but that's a different.
I'm sure there's
conversation.
somebody out there.
Look, I feel like I'm filling multiple demographics here with the upper half of a moose and the lower part of like a mermaid type merman.
Well, you got your furries and your scalies in one go. You're good.
Hit me up, people. No, no. You know what? I'm moving on from that one. Let's go. We crossed the say-so line immediately here. Let's go. We're going somewhere else. You know what? Let's ask an obvious question. You've already answered it at this point. What's your favorite color?
Purple and blue. I can't pick between the two. And I honestly really, really like a nice dark green as well.
Ooh.
Like a forest green. Yeah.
You know what? Chat, I'm going to set up a poll real quick. Cat's fave color. And then I need you guys to vote as much as you want. Is it purple or blue? It's a 2-minute poll. I'm starting it now. So
gonna narrow it down for me.
Yep. Whichever one they pick after the end of 2 minutes is your favorite color.
Forever and ever.
Yep. So far, it looks like purple's winning. You can vote multiple times, by the way. But moving on from that, yes, your honestly favorite color. It kind of makes sense with your. I mean, obviously the split down the middle and how you like said before, they are your favorite colors. That's why you went with it in the first place.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to just take a quick guess. What do you think my favorite color is?
Well, let me see.
Do you need me to make myself smaller so you can get the full good look at me?
Sure.
Okay. Doop-a-doop-a-doo, doop-a-doo. There we go. Hey. Look at the mermoose.
The orange.
Is it orange? Yes, it is.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's a very lovely shade of orange.
Why, thank you. I think it looks
very
great on
welcome.
me. I think it really brings out my orange eyes or my orange headphones.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
looks
orange
like-
is a nice color.
Looks like purple's going to end up winning. Good job, guys.
That doesn't surprise me.
This is where
I'm
someone
fine with that.
Someone comes in last second, gives like 5-10 votes to blue. I wouldn't be surprised.
If only Twitch allowed a write-in vote, someone's gonna come in with like chartreuse.
That would actually be kind of funny.
Yeah. They're like, no. It's magenta. I'm sure of it.
Look, magenta's a good color. Don't diss magenta.
Oh, no shade on magenta, except that it's technically not a color.
Wait, why is it technically not a color?
Okay, let's see if I can remember the proper explanation for this. Okay, so do you know how color is made? It's about light, right?
Correct.
There's a
Yeah.
spectrum. There's a spectrum of color. Okay, magenta's not on that spectrum, but it's something about how our eyes perceive certain bends of light. So we see magenta, but it's not actually on the spectrum. I'm not great at explaining that kind of thing. I have websites that I've read that will give you the actual the drawn out explanation. So to say it's not really a color is a little misleading. It is a color that our eyes perceive, but it's not on the actual spectrum. So, yeah.
I feel like I've been lied to my entire life. Color theory is your bitch. Well,
yeah, she's really, really good with color. She really is.
this is where we just get Wispy to come
There
on
you go.
stream.
Magenta doesn't have a color receptor. That's the word I was looking for.
We get Wispy to just come on stream and just talk about color theory for the next hour. No. But, you know, that actually is very interesting. And I don't really know how to process that. And I'm just going to, you know, accept that what you said is true and just
You know, when I
not
first
think
heard
about
that,
it.
I didn't know how to process it either. Because I was like, you know, my whole life I thought magenta was a color. I actually found that out in high school when I was a theater tech kid, and I was learning how to do lighting, and we were using gels for the light, and the instructor just kind of offhandedly goes, you know, magenta isn't actually a color.
Oh my.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You know, I keep trying to think of all these fun segues based off of things being said, and I am very bad at it today. Normally, I'm actually
Oh,
pretty
you're doing fine.
Oh, I know, I know. I'm the best. I can take care of it now. But, don't worry. I'll have an interesting one for the next one. But I just wanted to go into next. What is your favorite food?
Oh, well,
Is it cheese?
I know everybody always expects me to say cheese. I do love cheese. I will not lie. I love cheese on almost everything. I like desserts with cheese, but no, my favorite food ever is sushi. I love sushi.
Ooh.
Yep.
What type of roll?
Oh gosh. There's this one roll. It's not traditional, but it was there's a place downtown that Bento and I went to on Halloween called Taco Sushi, and it's a fusion restaurant. They do Mexican and Japanese food, and they also have a daily special roll. And we went in for their happy hour, and we went in on Halloween after we both got off work, and they had what they called a candy corn roll, and basically it was smoked salmon and cream cheese and tamago, which, if you're not familiar, tamago is a Japanese omelet. And it was kind of shaped like a little piece of candy corn in the middle of the rice packed around it and then wrapped in seaweed. So, yeah, it was a candy corn roll. That's my favorite ever, but I'm pretty adventurous. I try a whole lot of different kinds. So, yeah, just sushi in general, I love.
Now, that sounds interesting. For some reason, whenever I eat sushi, I don't really like cream cheese in my sushi.
People don't, and it's not traditional. It's not traditional, and I love the traditional rolls. They're really good. They're a lot more simple. Really, the traditional sushi is a lot more simple than what we have here in the United States. Most places here, like the California roll is really popular, and I won't say I don't like it. It's one of my favorites. I do love the California roll, but it was actually made to get Americans to like sushi because they were intimidated by the idea of eating raw fish. I'm not so intimidated by it. I actually lived in Japan for 3 years as a kid, so that's where I got my first taste of sushi. Was actually the traditional stuff. I could never quite do sashimi. I mean, I can now, but like as a kid, like they had like this full on fish with the eye and everything. When I visited some Japanese friends of mine, their parents were eating that, and they were like, "You want to try some?" And I was like, I can't. It's looking at me."
That's
but
funny,
like,
actually.
just like the pieces of raw fish with a little bit of soy sauce or something, I can do that. That's fine. Wispy says cowards. Ceviche for the win.
Wispy is giving it to us, man.
Yeah, Wispy is Peruvian, and yeah, and ceviche actually comes from Peru. So we've been talking about eventually making some ceviche, but we haven't quite gotten around to it. But she's made some other Peruvian dishes that I'm absolutely crazy about. Secco is my favorite so far. Love when she makes Secco. Um, but yeah, so I'm actually looking forward to trying ceviche eventually. We just have to get around to actually making it together.
Sorry, when you said secco, it made me think of what prosecco or whatever. What is it, wine type thing? And I have a
Oh
friend
yeah,
who,
no, it's not like that.
yeah, no, I immediately I have a thought of a friend who likes to drink that like all the time. So, yeah, no.
I've never actually done that, but I've never had prosecco, but that's because I'm not a huge wine person. I like Japanese plum wine. Literally the only wine I've ever had that I liked. That's it.
Are you a sake person?
Surprisingly, no.
Ah.
I don't often drink, but the drink you have for me here, the yin yang martini, I like. If it's sweet, I like it. If it has chocolate in it, I like it. If it has citrus in it, I like it. But it has to be sweet. So sweet that while I'll still notice the alcohol, because I've heard that a dozen times from a dozen different bartenders, oh, I can make a drink where you won't notice the alcohol. I always notice. I mean, like, it's my autism superpower, I guess. I don't know. But I always notice. And, yeah, but my husband is the first, he's a former bartender. He's the first one who ever made a drink that I actually liked, regardless of the alcohol content, that didn't have to be loaded with chocolate. So.
And it was
but this is a yin yang. Oh, yeah. But the yin yang martini we actually get from a place called the Melting Pot. Every time I go, I get one of those. It's a fondue restaurant, but yeah, it had Godiva liqueur in it, which isn't a thing anymore. So I guess they use a different chocolate liqueur. They had the dark chocolate and the white chocolate, and I think a little bit of vodka, if I remember right. And then the yin yang is made from dark and white chocolate shavings and then dark and white candy melt. It's really good. You're
starting to make me a bit thirsty and also slightly hungry at the same time.
That happens a lot when people talk to me. I do like to talk about food.
Well,
I try a lot of different and interesting things. So
yeah, I agree. That does sound scrumptious. Okay, I have to ask. I always ask this question. This is one of my favorites to ask. And, I mean, everyone always agrees that this is their number one, 100%. What is your favorite animal, and why is it the majestic mermoose?
Well, obviously it's the majestic mermoose because, I mean, what a fantastic creature. I mean, so unique and so different. I mean, you've married land and sea, surf and turf in one being.
Yes.
I mean,
wait,
it's gotta be.
Wait.
No. You're safe. You're safe.
Me? Please don't eat me.
I don't think the majestic mermoose is in a mouse's diet. I think you're safe.
Awesome. I am glad. Also, I think your dog agrees that. He
likes the majestic mermoose as well. Yeah.
Oh yes. Now I must ask you actually then, because we have to be fair to all the other creatures. We have to take me off the table here. So, if you didn't count me as your favorite animal, what would your favorite animal be?
Foxes.
Foxes?
Yeah. But I went with a mouse for two reasons. I love mice. Don't get me wrong. I think they're adorable.
Okay.
But I went with the mouse for two reasons. Well, three. One, I liked the whole idea of turning the whole Cheshire Cat thing on its head, it being a Cheshire Mouse instead. The complete opposite of a Cheshire Cat is a Cheshire Mouse.
I see.
Also, foxes are kind of overdone. As
Correct.
much as I love them, every VTuber out there, so many of them, not every obviously, but there's so many. A new one pops up every day and it's another fox. And I'm like, okay, how do you stand out from that? There are significantly fewer mice. There are some, but there are a lot fewer. And then the last reason is my nickname that my husband gave me is Mousewife. He calls me Mousewife. And it just kind of, because he says I'm very fastidious about the way I do things. Like when I'm eating, I'm very dainty and very delicate, and it reminds him of, like, if you see mice in like the Disney cartoons. If you've ever seen Bambi in the
Yep.
scene where it's raining, the mouse reaches up and pulls down the little leaf to get a drop of dew and wash its face. It's very delicate and very fussy about it. Yeah, he says that's me.
That's adorable.
Yeah, so he calls me Mousewife, and I just thought, roll with it.
Oh my god, yep. Does that mean you are the dominatrix queen of the mousehold?
No. No.
Oh, I thought
no.
you ruled the mousehold with an iron fist. Or the whip from earlier.
I get that reputation somehow. I don't know where it came from. No, I'm the world's biggest pushover. I mean, yeah, Bento would probably appreciate it if I were a little more firm, but no, that's not me. That's not me. I am squishy all around. Very, very soft and easily bowled over. So very easily flustered. Less easily flustered than I used to be, and that comes of being with him so long because, as he put it, I'm used to all his bullshit now. So, yes, as Wispy put it, made of baby. I am made of baby.
So I can at least tell you this. I did a quick scan over everyone I've interviewed. By the way, you are number 24, in case I didn't say that earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, but the reason I say that is I actually have an equal number of fox and mouse VTubers that I have interviewed.
Wow, really? You've interviewed other mice?
Yes, you are the second mouse.
Oh, who was the first one?
My second interview was Small Mousy, is their name. So,
ooh.
Yes.
I shall have to check out Small Mousy.
It's a SMOL for small.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Okay.
But yes,
I will definitely look for them.
I was just looking. I was just like, because when you mentioned, I was like, how much fox do I have on here? And I'm like, apparently I did 2 back-to-back foxes. So
there's a lot more variety than there used to be. But man, when I first started, I was like, oh, I love this VTuber. They're a fox. It's so pretty. Oh, I love this one. They're also a fox. It's so pretty. Oh God, there's a dozen more foxes. And it's no shade on the Fox VTubers because they all bring their own individual creativity to to the table. But just when you're out there looking, it's one fox after another, and I was like, well, I'm not going to stand out that way. And as someone as shy and prone to like just stammering and stuttering when I get like flustered, I was like, okay, I need something a little different. So. Yeah, mouse it is.
So
it kind of fit.
I'm going to go back to the questions in a second, but I do have one that I'm just curious about.
Sure.
What stereotypical like VTuber type design do you think I would have interviewed, but I've actually interviewed 0 of?
Let me think. Dog VTuber.
Well, correct. I have not interviewed a dog, but I've also not interviewed a cat either.
Oh wow, really?
Yes.
Cat girls are another common one. That's another one I had considered, and I was like, no, everybody's a cat girl.
Yeah, that was the one that was the one I was thinking of. I was like, man, I have not actually interviewed a cat girl. Huh.
I almost said cat first, but I was like, no, surely there's been a cat. But I know a lot of I know quite a few of dog VTubers, quite a few cat VTubers, and yeah, I know a lot of them.
Well, to be fair, if we want to count it in this regard, you are the first cat VTuber.
Haha, yeah. See,
so
there we go.
The mouse is the first cat VTuber.
Oh, Wispy says one day she's going to species swap me.
Oh.
Oh my.
Does that mean you're going to become Mouse the Cheshire Cat?
Maybe. Unless she decides to make me something entirely different. Wispy, when she makes her model, I'm sure it's going to be a ghost because she's got her own little mascot. It's the most adorable ghost. Yes, it's so cute. And while she was actually on my stream once, and because I was like, you know what? I don't know what to do today. I'm going to do Placid Plastic Duck Simulator. And she got really excited because she loves it. And she's like, oh, I'll hop on stream and we'll play it together. And I was like, okay. And by play, we mean mostly watch it and occasionally click the ducks to make them quack. But she did this super cute sketch of, and it's sitting in one of the art channels in my Discord, the super cute sketch of her ghost girl and my Cheshire Mouse as ducks, as little rubber ducks. It's so cute. Yeah.
This be so sweet.
She is. She's really sweet.
So I'm going to get into something.
A goby fish. She's going to make me a goby fish.
I'm going to get into something slightly more embarrassing, maybe a little bit. I don't know how open you are about this. But
okay, well, we'll see.
When you were younger, who was your first celebrity or fantasy crush?
Oh gosh.
We will judge. We will judge.
Oh yeah. Well, it's not that I'm worried about you judging. I'm worried about dating myself. But then again, I did say already that I have adult children. So.
Okay. Cool. Because I have
that kind of does that already.
I have somebody I want to ask about at some point, just because this person has surprisingly come up multiple times despite the species, but we will get into that in a minute.
Okay, so let me think. If you mean like an actual human actor,
it could be either the human actor or the character from the whatever show.
Okay, as a little kid. Okay,
it could be live action.
As a little
show,
kid,
it could be also a cartoon show.
As a little kid, really, really loved Disney's Robin Hood. The fox. He was such a cutie.
He was a foxy man.
I wanted to marry that fox. But no. As a teenager, I'd say it was probably David Duchovny in the X-Files.
Ooh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then later on, it switched to David Tennant in Doctor Who.
Very nice. Okay. I see your taste now. So surprisingly, an answer I've received...
I like scrawny nerds. I just really like scrawny nerds. I do.
Gotcha. Stereotypical someone you'd see in a library. Understood. But what I was getting at is a surprising answer I've received multiple times. So, have you seen The Lion King?
I have. On multiple occasions.
Did you know there's a Lion King 2?
I did. I also knew there was a 1.5. The in-between-quel.
I'm actually glad you knew that. But in Lion King 2, apparently like the main male character is named Kovu. And so many people I've interviewed...
Wispy said Kovu heart.
Yep. So many people have said Kovu as their first like fantasy crush. And I'm just like, it's not even like an anthropomorphic animal. It's literally a lion. Like, it's just straight up a lion. And I know I'm being a little judgy here with that one, but
I mean, if we're talking Lion King though, I have mad respect for Nathan Lane, best meerkat ever. I mean, Timon is amazing. But I don't know, I just kind of have a thing for Broadway dramatics. So, and he's very Broadway, so yeah. He was also great in the movie Mouse Hunt.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Do you feel attacked or hunted because of that?
Not even a little. Have you ever seen Mouse Hunt?
I have not, no.
Okay, so these two brothers inherit their father's twine company.
Okay.
And it's run into the ground, and they don't know what they're going to do with it, you know, because their dad died, and this is all that binds them together. And they got that and this very, very old house. But the house, while, like, in total disrepair, is, it was made by some famous architect, and so it could be, if they fixed it up, could be worth a lot of money. And they're like, well, we'll make some kind of money, because the factory, you know, is not worth our time. But while they're trying to fix up the house, they discover this mouse that lives there who keeps sabotaging all of their plans and trying to
Ooh.
drive them out. And they're spending all this time trying to kill the mouse. The ending, I don't want to spoil the ending for you, but the ending was very, very cute and honestly very, very satisfying. And no, the mouse survives. I'll give you
Ooh.
that much.
Okay.
And yeah, honestly, it was super sweet. The ending was really charming, and if you haven't seen Mouse Hunt, it is one of Nathan Lane's best as far as I'm concerned. I love that movie. He was great in The Birdcage too. Credit where credit is due. If you haven't seen that one, he's in that with Robin Williams, and it's about a young man who brings his fiance home to meet his two gay dads, with her very conservative parents, and they're theater folk, and they're actors, and Nathan Lane is of course incredibly dramatic, and he disguises himself as the young man's mother, um, and it's really really funny, and it's super good.
So,
but yeah, love
just,
Nathan Lane.
just a quick side note on that. Welcome
Mm-hmm.
in, Raiders. Thank you for the raid, Netro. I really appreciate it. Hope you are doing well. What's up, Ken? How are you, White Demon Queen? Welcome all in. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. But yes, we are in the middle of an interview with Kat the Cheshire Mouse. So feel free to sit back and ask whatever questions you may like. And we're promising we might be say-so. Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's still early. So
We're doing our best.
So-
we stray a little, but,
we
mostly I think we're on the right track.
we were just talking about movies, and that brings me into my next question, actually. So
Sure.
this question, it's a little weirdly worded, and I always have to explain it. So what is your favorite media of all time? Which I have a feeling I know the answer in your case. But like
Books. Always
yep,
books.
Yep. So if it's books, now what is your favorite book? Because the question is typically directed into answering what is your favorite of your favorite.
That's like asking someone, if you're asking a reader what their favorite book is, it's like asking what their favorite child is. It's a very difficult question for me to answer. I have a long list of really, really good books that I love, but I would say at the top are Alice in Wonderland,
Ooh,
Alice through the what was the second one?
Through the
Looking Glass,
Yeah.
and What Alice Found There. I always phrase it wrong at first. I have to like wrap my mouth around the words properly. It's but and then there's one by Guy Gavriel Kay
Ooh,
called
okay.
The Lions of Al-Rasan. Now, Guy Gavriel Kay is he tends to do books that are alternative versions of historical places.
Ooh.
And there's in some of the books there's like actual like magic and sorcery and stuff involved. In his Fionavar Tapestry novels, there's like it's a trilogy, I believe, if I recall correctly. I haven't read it since high school, it's been so long. That one is that he writes about what is he calls the first of all worlds, Fionavar. But there are references to that in all of these other books that are actually standalone books that have nothing to do with the Fionavar Tapestry, but they have to do with the idea that there is a first of all worlds and others are just sort of shadows of it. But this particular one, The Lions of Al-Rasan, is set in a place that mimics Andalusian Spain. And it's in the Middle Ages, and it focuses on three very central characters from three very different cultures, and what happens when and they're all people of very of historic importance to their to what's going on in that region now, and they're brought together. And things kind of happen, and they, and it talks a lot about like how the differences like how individuals can overcome the differences between their cultures and their faiths, and they can, they can celebrate those differences and become very, very close. But when the society at large around you isn't making that change with you, it can tear those relationships apart. And it's a very deep and very moving book, but it has a lot of incredibly humorous moments in it too. And I was introduced to it by a librarian
Ooh.
when I was a teenager. Uh, and I was really big into King Arthur then, and I was reading lots of Arthurian stuff, and that's when she gave me the Fionavar tapestry. But then she said, and when you're done with that, you need to read his new book, The Lions of Al-Rasan. You're going to love this one. And I did, and it's been my favorite ever since. So of all of his books, that's my favorite. And I've read a lot of them, and they all do have that sort of theme. It might only be mentioned once in a small part, but it's kind of like an Easter egg in each book where there might be like a philosopher that mentions something about how I met this man in the desert, and he talked about how while his people are wanderers, they believe in this other world, like on the other side of the moon or something like that. They're like, and it's the very first of all the worlds, and this is just a shadow of it. Just little references here and there. If you're not looking for it, or if you haven't read the Fionavar tapestry, it might seem like an insignificant detail. It might seem like, oh, well, that's interesting, but what does that have to do with the larger story? And it's like, well, it kind of does, but it kind of doesn't. It's really just a callback to his first, major work. So, yeah. It's called The Lions of Al-Rasan by Guy Gavriel Kay. Yeah.
Lions of Al. I have it pulled up now just so that I can have that for later, because I kind of want to check that out since you're speaking so very highly of it, and it's honestly, it sounds very interesting in and of itself, and I kind of want to check it out. So yeah, thank you very much for the recommendation.
Let me know what you think. But yeah, as much as I love books, though, so growing up, I always was like I would get very disgruntled when a book would be made into a film and it was missing parts. It's like, the book is better. The book is better. And yes, I've come to understand that the vast majority of the time the book will be better, but film is a different medium. And so you tell the story in a different way. In college, I studied a lot of Marshall McLuhan, who says that the medium is the message. It alters the fundamental way you tell the story. So you're going to tell a story differently in a book than you will in a film, than you will in an audio drama, than you will in a play on stage. There are subtle differences. But I don't know. I've come to appreciate those differences. So while books are still my favorite medium, I have an appreciation for all of them. And the book surprisingly, it isn't always better. I love The Princess Bride, the novel, but the movie is incredible, and I would say that it's better. Not necessarily better, but I don't know. Different. I think it has wider appeal.
Yes,
I will say that it has wider appeal. The book is incredible in its own right. But the film has I think a much wider appeal, not just because some people aren't readers. I think even among readers it would have a wider appeal, because it's just such a fun way to tell that story. So, and the actors in it are incredible. So,
well, thank you for that. And no, I agree. Princess Bride is absolutely phenomenal, and I have actually read that book. So
yeah, it's actually one of my 3 favorite movies.
Ooh.
You might be noticing a pattern. I have trouble picking favorite things.
Gotcha.
But The Princess Bride is one. Labyrinth is another, and then The Dark Crystal.
Oh, okay. I can kind of see like a little bit of a similarity here. Okay.
Yeah. I have a thing for family films, not family films, fantasy films. I don't know. I like a lot of family films too. I do enjoy, like, Home Alone is one of my, I won't say it's like my favorite, but like it ranks high.
Now,
I like family comedies. I will say that. I do like family comedies.
Speaking of things that you do like, what would you say is your current obsession? What is like, oh, I can't get enough of this?
Ooh. Seanan McGuire's books.
Ooh.
Like, yeah, she's my current favorite author. Um, I'm because I'm getting into voice acting, and I want to eventually also do audiobooks. I practice at night by rereading the books that I've already read myself a bunch of times. I read them to Bento, and I've been reading through. We've finally gotten to the latest one published in her encrypted series, and then I'm going to read to him the Alchemical Journey series, which is really, really good. There's only 3 books in that so far, but there will be 5 total. But those are like her masterpiece, especially the first one, Middle Game. But my favorite series of hers, and she's got several series, but my favorite series of hers is the October Day series, because it's about a changeling detective, and I just have a special place in my heart for fairy stuff. And it's an urban fantasy series, and it's just a lot of fun. It really, really is. So, and that's, yeah, Sean and McGuire. Here, I'll type it in the chat. So,
Yes, please.
Sean and McGuire, yeah. She's incredibly prolific. Oh god, I can't tell you how many books she's actually written. And that is the someone who came home just now. Dogs.
Hi, dogs.
Dogs are having their, little fit, and now they're calm. But she's written several series. She writes for Magic the Gathering. She writes some of their novels, and then short stories. She's written Spider-Gwen.
Oh,
if
okay.
you're into Marvel, she writes for Spider-Gwen. She's got so much going on. She does a YA series called Wayward Children that is really, really good. It's portal fantasy. If you're not familiar with portal fantasy, it's a subgenre of fantasy. Think Narnia. There's a gateway to another world. It's pretty simple. Portal fantasy.
Gotcha.
Well, you find a door one day and it takes you somewhere else. But funnily enough, she wrote another. This is my favorite thing about her, honestly, is that she wrote the Alchemical Journeys series, and in Middle Game, in all of them, there's a series of children's books that are mentioned that were written by an alchemist, that's famous in alchemy circles, but like the rest of the world just knows her as a children's author. It's A. Deborah Baker. And the A stands for Asphodel. Like in alchemical circles, they refer to her as Asphodel Baker, but A. Deborah Baker is how she's known, like, famously. And she writes this series of children's novels that are supposed to basically influence the public consciousness and how they think about magic, to call into reality a place called the Impossible City. Well, some authors would just leave that alone. They've mentioned this is a thing that happened in this world, whatnot, No, not Shannon. Shannon actually wrote those books.
Huh.
A quartet of children's books. They're for like intermediate readers, and I've read them and they're wonderful. Also portal fantasy, and it's called the Up and Under series by A. Deborah Baker. She actually wrote it under the pseudonym A. Deborah Baker, which I thought was
actually really funny.
Great.
Really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, she's, and honestly, she's just, she's a very interesting, she's a fascinating person and very, very talented. And, so I love her writing. So,
because you sound like you sound incredibly passionate about this and whatnot.
And
you seem very immersed in these different worlds that these authors construct. Kind of makes me want to lead into a little bit. If you could live in any fictional world, which one would it be?
Probably her fictional version of San Francisco.
Ooh, okay.
And the Summerlands of Fairy, because she's a changeling. October Day is a changeling detective that lives in San Francisco, but San Francisco is, has places that are very close to Fairy. To the Summerlands, which is the closest part of Fairy, the only part that they actually currently have access to, because Oberon, the king of fairy had actually closed fairy off when one of his wives went missing. So, yeah, she paints a very vivid picture of what that world is like, and I just absolutely love it. I don't want to give too much away about it, but like in the latest October Day novel, she actually wrote it. Most of them are written from October's perspective, but this one, the latest one, was written from her new husband's perspective, and he is Tybalt, the king of cats. Yeah, they're the KatTheCheshireMouse are a are a type of fae, and he is the local king of cats. There are kings of cats in various fairy courts all over the world, but he's the king of the local ones, or he was. He steps down to marry her. But in that one, for reasons I won't get into because it would give away too much, he and several other of the KatTheCheshireMouse, they robbed several Costco's using what they call the shadow roads to access them. So they're not like breaking in the front door. They're actually like using like these, this magical way of travel, and they rob Costco's. It's for a good cause, I swear. I'm not advocating robbing your local Costco, but I just thought it was just kind of an interesting detail. And I was wondering if, sometimes Costco sells books, and I'm wondering if they have a copy of this particular book sitting there, and if anyone working at Costco or for Costco, if their book buyer actually read the book and realizes somebody robs a Costco, and all the Costco's in the Bay Area get robbed in one night by a bunch of fairy cats.
That's adorable. 10 out of 10, that's adorable. That's like good enough to read the book series right there. It's just Costco getting robbed by fairy cats. Let's go.
Must be that sick I want to rob Costco.
Well, guys, it's time to plan a heist. We're Ocean's 11ing this. Let's go.
Well, we'll use all the magic at our disposal.
Now, yep, I am what I like to call a master of antlermancy. So, yes, my own version of magic, I suppose. But
gotcha.
Now, one thing I want to, I guess, kind of give everybody in the audience is we've kind of talked about you on the things you like and like kind of like the positive traits of you. I have something that I want to point out just a little bit. What would be one of your more negative things? Which of the 7 deadly sins represents you the best?
Gosh, sloth.
Sloth?
Well, it's not so much laziness as it is the ADHD. Like I told you before, like I spent all day basically waiting for this interview because I was like, I have a thing today, and my brain just kind of shuts down and says, you can't do anything else because you have a thing. And it's like, yeah, but that thing's at 6 o'clock and it's like 10 in the morning. What are you going to do all day? I don't know.
Ooh.
So I guess, yeah, probably, I guess the closest to that is sloth. So yeah, definitely.
Sloth.
Sloth.
Now.
Plus sloths are cute. Come on.
Oh, no. I mean, I don't disagree.
But when sloths are mating, the female attracts the male by just like screaming. Yeah, I found that the other day. I watch a lot of TikTok on animals, so fun stuff.
Gotcha. Well, now I know something about sloths that I never thought I needed to know in my life.
Yeah.
Now, I need you to answer this one for me. Sure. Then. Which of the 7 deadly sins do you think best represents me? I think so. I have to recheck the VOD, but like I believe I've asked this twice now, and I need to go back and make a poll for like I need to go to every person I've ever interviewed and be like, okay, look, I need you to answer this random question, just so I could get 24 different opinions. But
I'm gonna run with gluttony just because I made you hungry talking about sushi and my drink.
I don't remember who I was talking to recently. I don't know if I was on stream with somebody or I was just talking to them post stream. I don't remember. But I remember I was talking to somebody and I was like, gluttony might be the one that fits me best. And not in the traditional meaning of gluttony. So
Yeah.
yeah, because I think one person gave me sloth and last person gave me lust. 100% last person gave me lust. They were like, oh yeah, no, you are way too flirty. And I'm like, that's just my personality. I'm sorry. But
It's not horny on main. Just on the side channel. Don't tell people about that one.
look, you know what? If you want to know, just slide into my DMs. Let's go. No. No. Gluttony for me is when I'm interested in anything, I like full send on that. It's like one thing. I go all in and I consume that like entire thing. If there's a show I like there was a show that I wanted to watch and it was like 90 some episodes or whatever, and I watched like 70 of them in the first like 2 weeks before I was like, okay, cool. I'm kind of getting
gotta take a break.
Yeah, I gotta take a little bit of a break. But like, I watched most of it. Like, and if I get into anything, like I was playing a new game recently. I've been marathoning it and doing like anytime I had free, it was like, okay, that is the thing I'm doing. Like I've like certain things.
I'm prone to hyperfixation myself. I get it.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, if gluttony, you don't count it as eating a ton, and you count it as like consuming.
Must consume all of this one thing. Yeah.
Then
I get you.
Yeah. Then I would definitely agree with you on gluttony. I think that might be my actual like deadly sin. But thank you.
I think it counts.
Thank you. And you know what? I'm going to move into everybody's favorite part of the stream.
Oh, yeah?
It's definitely my favorite part of the stream. It's the Would You Rather section.
Oh, I've been looking forward to this one. Okay, let's go.
So, did you cheat and peek at these beforehand?
No, I did not.
Okay, because I think... Now, I've had a bad habit of forgetting to do this, but I'm pretty sure I sent you the questions, I believe. Or did I just not?
I don't think so, no. You didn't. In fact, you had said yesterday you hadn't decided what they were going to be yet.
Normally I have a document that I just like, hey, whoever I'm interviewing, here's the document. I typically do it like a week in advance, and I'm like, here's the questions, look over them, let me know if there's anything you don't want me to ask. And I think I just forgot.
You knew I was coming, and I have autism and ADHD, and you figured you'd want me to feel comfortable, so like, why plan ahead?
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Would you? No. Okay.
No. So now I feel so much more comfortable.
Here is the first question. Would you rather live one 1,000-year life or 10 100-year lives?
I think 10 100-year lives.
Ooh. Now,
opportunity to do things completely differently each time. I mean, you could argue that in the 1,000-year one, you could do things differently all the time, but you're still the same person. You're still viewing it through the same lens. So 100 different lives and 100 different, 100 different personalities and bodies, whatever, you're experiencing it from a completely different perspective. So, yeah.
I agree, because it also gives you yes, but it gives you the more chances to, like, you said diversify, but also like, what if your one life that's 1,000 years turns out to be like just really bad, or like you get into very bad situations and it makes it difficult to work your way out of it? That would take up a significant part of your life.
Yeah.
But then like,
that's true.
In the other ones, it's like, well, I just have to deal with this one, and then next one, it could be better, it could be worse. I mean, it could be different every time, but there's more chances for it to be better than it is for...
I'm actually kind of reading a book that is very that talks about a very similar idea.
Ooh.
It's let me find the author for you.
Wispy, thank you for giving me this question. I know we hooked up beforehand, just to get this. No.
It's called How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying by Django Wexler. I haven't gotten very far into it yet, but basically, short synopsis is that this girl basically got isekai'd into this fantasy world where she's supposed to be their savior, their princess, and she's supposed to free them from these evil beings, run by who are led by the Dark Lord. But she keeps dying, and then it starts all over again. And so she finally gets to a point where she's like, you know what, fuck this, I am tired of dying again and again and again. And that seems like what princesses do. So this time around, I'm gonna be the Dark Lord. And she starts out by just like absolutely murdering the creepy old man who's supposed to lead her to become the princess. She's like, no, you get me into so much trouble, you have to go. She just absolutely destroys him and then goes on her merry way. And it's a humorous book. It's very, very, it's a dark comedy kind of thing. And it's, I don't know, that you made me think of that because yeah, she's already lived like a few hundred lives where, you know, she tried to do things differently, but it's the same life really. And this time she's like, you know what, no, we're gonna go completely opposite direction. Tired of being the good guy, let's fuck some shit up.
That's really funny. I really appreciate that sounds like a very fun like book to like read. Oh my god, like I can imagine it's like very good. Also, I've noticed a common trend is a lot of the people I seem to get on these like either dark comedies or dark romances. A lot of dark.
I'm less into romances, to be perfectly honest. There are very few things. It's funny, I don't like reading romances, but I really do enjoy period dramas and period romances in film and television. So, like, I love things like Bridgerton. I love things like The Gilded Age and oh gosh, what is the one? It's the one that came before The Gilded Age, and I watched it all the time, and my mind is blanking on it. It was super.
Your mind is blanking.
I know it's what. Hang on a second. It was super popular too. Gosh, it was about the Granthams.
Well, I believe you that it was popular.
Yeah, the actress that plays Professor McGonagall is in it. Gosh, what is it? Wow, I can't believe I don't remember this.
Google is your friend.
Yeah, I know. That is what I am going to do. Hang on. I'll start by looking up The Gilded Age, because that's... Okay, let's see.
Okay.
The Gilded Age creator. Julian Fellows created it, and Downton Abbey! Oh my god, why did I forget that? Downton Abbey.
I feel like I've heard of that before.
Downton Abbey used to be really big on PBS. Yeah, I'm a PBS nerd.
Gotcha.
But then we stopped actually getting like we stopped watching actual television and just started streaming everything. But yeah, loved Downton Abbey. Less for the romantic aspects and more I love the costumes. I just love the costumes. And two, for like they get into a lot of the drama over things like succession and what it's like not only for the wealthy landed nobility, but also what it's like what they call below stairs for the people who do all the work behind the scenes, the maids and the footmen and stuff like that. And I think that's really cool. So yeah, but I don't like romances in books. I mean, like, if they're part of the story, it's okay. Like, but if that's the whole thing, nah.
That's not your thing. Got it.
Not my thing. I mean, and for those that love it, that's great. It's, I certainly don't want to discourage anyone from reading what they love. It's just not for me. Although there is a cozy fantasy romance that's actually really comical that I love by Travis Baldree, and it's called it's called Legends and Lattes. And it's about an orc who decides she's going to retire from adventuring and open a coffee shop.
That's adorable.
And it has a prequel called Bookshops and Bone Dust. So it's also very, very good.
I'm not going to lie.
And they're so cute and funny. It's cozy.
When you said Bookshops and Bone Dust, at first, before you said the dust part, in my head, I had this vision that it was going to be called Bookshops and Bone Daddies, and it was going to be about a skeleton. It was going to be about a skeleton.
That would be great. That would be great. You know, he's actually on my Twitter. Travis Baltry is. I should make that suggestion. Be like, you know, hey, you should write a book about bone daddies.
Everyone needs a sexy skeleton in their life. No.
Super nice guy though. When I actually Shannon McGuire had actually mentioned the book. He had self-published it on Amazon at first, and she was like really recommending the book, and I was like, okay, I gotta pick it up. And I picked it up and I loved it, and so I reached out to him and I said, hey, can I give copies away on my stream? Would you be okay with that? I'll buy them. And I promptly bought 10 copies, and he was like, oh, that's so great. He's like, yeah, absolutely. And he goes, and here's a bunch of audiobook copies that you can give away too, that I just have these codes for. So here, I'll give them to you.
Aww.
And he's super nice. But yeah, it took off and people really loved the book. And so it got picked up by, I think, Tor. Yeah. And so Tor is his publisher now. So he actually went from self-publishing to traditional publishing just because of all the buzz created on Twitter and other platforms. And because of already traditionally published authors really hyping him up. And I thought that was really cool, you know, that they're helping out smaller authors like that. So
that is really awesome. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Now, speaking about being an author, that brings me into my next would you rather question.
Okay.
Would you rather become a successful author or own your own library?
Oh, that's tough.
Sometimes I get these off of Google, Google Sensei.
Yeah.
Here. But sometimes I'm like, I just got to think of what would the person that I'm interviewing struggle with answering. And this was my one for you.
As a famous author, do I still get to read books? I just can't have my own library?
You just physically can't have your own library, yes. And the other one is you can't become an author.
A famous author, yeah.
Author, yes.
Yeah, you know what? I would just spend a lot of time in my local library and be the famous author. Why not?
Hey, we take success, we take fame, we take money in this house. Let's go.
Oh, okay. Let me disabuse you of a notion right now. Authors are not, by and large, wealthy and famous. I mean, in small, there are exceptions.
Yep.
You get J.K. Rowling, and however you might feel about her, she is a billionaire.
Yeah.
But I've got my feelings on that. But we're not going to talk about that.
We're not talking about that.
But then there's Stephen King, and then there's what's Patterson. I can't remember his first name because I was never really into mysteries and stuff like that. James Patterson. Yes, thank you, honey. James Patterson. They make a lot of money, but they're the exception rather than the rule. And both Bento and I once had aspirations of writing books. And we went to Dragon Con one year, and we sat in on a lot of panels with some of our favorite authors.
Ooh.
And we're listening to them talk about, what it's like to be an author. And they're like, yeah, don't quit your day job because you can't. You literally can't. So by and large, yeah, there are people, there are people who will, there are a lot of people out there who will appreciate your work, and they might help you pay a few bills, but they won't help you pay all of them. I think the only reason Shannon can make her living writing the way that she does is because, one, she does a lot of promotional stuff. She does lots of cons and things like that. But two, she doesn't stop. Your average author releases 1, maybe 2 books a year. She's I don't know what her record is, but she writes 4 or 5 different series per year under several different names.
That's insane.
Then there's the comics, and then there's the short stories from Magic. There's always something else she's doing, and so and then on top of all that, she also has a Patreon. So you've really got to hustle if you want to make your living as an author. So it wouldn't be for the money, and it certainly wouldn't be for the fame. It's just to know that I would open the door to another world for somebody that way.
You're so sweet.
Would be really thank you. I mean, I would find that to be really rewarding. But the ADHD kicks in and I can't finish more than a chapter or 2. Maybe someday. But yeah, so yeah, I'd pick the author. Yeah.
Okay. Now, we
Plus,
know
it also gives me the opportunity to support local libraries more.
it
So,
does. It
yeah.
absolutely does. Now, we know
There you
you
go.
have a pet. We've heard your pet multiple times.
2
So,
dogs and a cat, and Wispy also has a small dog of her own. So we've got 3 dogs here. Yeah.
now, I'm going to ask this real quick. If you just had to
Mhm.
pick, which one would you say is your favorite if you had to pick a favorite?
If I had to pick a favorite pet, okay,
It's
I can't
it's
lie
relevant for
and
the
say I
question.
don't.
It's relevant
I
for the
can't lie
question.
and say I don't have a favorite because everybody knows Sammy is my favorite. He's my baby, but that's just because he needs me so much.
Okay.
He is the neediest. He is the neediest dog you will ever see. Not just because of the seizures or anything. He was a rescue, and he's been through a lot, and he clings to me. Like, he hates when I leave. If I leave the house and there's nobody there watching him, something is destroyed when I get back
Ooh.
because he's neurotic as fuck. But when I'm here, he's the biggest, sweetest, cuddliest baby. I love them all, I really do. But if I have to pick a favorite, it's gonna be my Sammy.
So the reason I choose Sammy for this is this question
Mm-hmm.
specifically. Would
Okay.
you rather your pet be able to talk to you or your pet live forever? Or at least as long as you live, for that extent.
Oh gosh, that's tough.
Yep, you could literally communicate with your pet or they could live your entire life.
You know what? As nice as the thought of them living as long as we do is, I think I would prefer being able to talk to them because I'd love to know what goes on in his head. Yeah, Wispy has different feelings about it. She's been through the loss of pets before. I mean, I have too, but I don't know. I just think I feel like if I could talk to them, I'd be able to better solve his anxiety. I'd be able to help him through it better than I do. You know, I'd know what's bothering him and what's on his mind instead of trying to having to figure it out. Although Wispy is correct, he does hate when we dance. He so hates when we dance. She says she doesn't need to hear Pochi say horrible things because he would. You know he would. He would. We're pretty sure Pochi is cussing us out like all the time.
So what you're saying
That's
is
her. That's her little dog.
Pochi does not like belly dancing, confirmed.
No. Pochi doesn't care about us dancing.
Oh,
In
sorry.
fact, Pochi is quite the accomplished dancer.
Oh.
Sammy, however, will bark at us when we dance.
Gotcha. I had it backwards in my head. I'm sorry. Sammy
No,
does
you're
not
fine.
like belly dancing. Understood.
He doesn't like any dancing. Like, if you just get into a little groove, V was doing that yesterday. Yesterday in the kitchen. V, are you dancing again? Is that why they're yelling? But she was doing this little dance in the living room, just kind of shaking her hips back and forth a little bit, just kind of grooving. And he got mad, and he just starts barking at her. He also doesn't like it if you tickle or like playfully swat at somebody. He thinks you're being violent. He gets very upset, and he's like, "Don't do that!" And he starts yelling at you. He's very protective. So I don't know. Maybe he thinks dancing is dangerous, and I'm gonna like break a hip or something. I don't know. But see, if he could talk, he could tell me why he hates it when we dance. I think, but he has. So one of my kids, when we first got him, he was a little over a year old, tried to do what everybody does with a bigger dog. Let's, come on, dance with me, Sammy. Both paws up. But he dropped Sammy by mistake. He let go of his paws, and Sammy didn't know what was going on, and he scrambled and he fell. He didn't get hurt. He was okay, but it startled him, and ever since he won't do it. He refuses to do it. He will jump up on you if you have a treat. If you hold a treat up on your chest, then he'll do it. But he needs that food incentive. Otherwise, he's like, "Are you out of your mind? I might break something. I'm delicate." He is. He's very delicate. Poodles are so delicate.
Very fragile.
He's got spindly little legs. Poor baby. And then, of course, there's the seizures if he has the slightest bit of stress. So he's just a wreck all around.
So this next one is a little interesting in regards to at least, I guess, a little bit of how you emotionally respond to things. So I'm curious what your answer to this one will be specifically. Would you rather talk like Minnie Mouse when you are angry or laugh like SpongeBob?
Oh my god, talk like Minnie Mouse. Hands down.
So,
Hands down.
so
Talk like Minnie Mouse.
what?
SpongeBob's laugh irritates the absolute ever-loving fuck out of me. Oh my god.
So whenever you're mad, you would automatically just start talking like Minnie Mouse.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Can you do a Minnie Mouse impression? You don't have to. I don't.
Sadly, no.
Okay, neither can I.
Sadly, no. That's not one. That's not one I'm good at. But hey, if I ever get good at it, I'll record it for you.
Why, thank you. I'd appreciate that. Yeah,
You're welcome.
I was gonna say I didn't know if that was in your voice acting repertoire yet.
No, not yet. No. I mean, like, I can do some voices, but that's not one of them.
Now we're going to get a little bit spicy with this next one, if you don't mind. Just a little bit.
Oh boy. Okay.
It's just a tiny bit spicy. It's not like going anything. It's trust me. What we said earlier, I think, was spicier. So.
Hit me with it. I love Thai food. It's fine.
Oh, okay, perfect, cool. Yeah, because guys, we're going out for Thai food after this. So yeah, if you want to join, feel free. But yeah, no, we already got a reservation, so you might need to get your own. But sorry, question. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, question.
Would you rather openly wear a swimsuit all summer or have lewd art of you go viral?
That's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, I'm not upset by the idea of lewd art of me. It wouldn't bother me. It legitimately wouldn't. And I like some art. Some of the art is very tasteful and, very, very well done. And I follow so many artists on Twitter. Like, I feel like it's somehow my absolute bound duty to retweet artists daily. So I have some of them that I have like notifications for. My phone is constantly a feed of notifications of this artist retweeting that artist who retweeted that artist and who posted a new one today. And oh, it's portfolio day again. And oh my God, my life is at an end. I have nothing else but retweeting art today. For the next 3 days, because there's always stragglers going, I'm late for portfolio day, but here I am. So yeah, it's like I wouldn't mind. But here's the thing, the swimsuit thing, I wouldn't mind wearing a swimsuit all the time, but I don't like to leave my house, so it's not like anybody would see it, so it doesn't matter.
That's kind of funny. I didn't think of it that way.
I am a notorious hermit. I don't like to leave. One of my kids recently started driving, so I don't have to take everybody everywhere anymore. I was so happy. I was like, yeah, here's the keys to my car. Get the fuck out.
Damn.
I don't have to leave anymore. You go. Cruise around, whatever. Just gas up when you're done so that, if I have to leave for something, I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, so I don't like leaving the house unless it's to shop for books or to go out to dinner with Bento or to see a movie occasionally. Then it's fine. And I do like our weekly shopping trips. We go out for groceries and stuff like that. So I guess I have to pick the lewd art because it would be awkward for me to shop in a bathing suit.
Yeah,
I do it. I mean, I've done it. Not recently, but but then I tend to have very full coverage bathing suits because I'm shy, and I have like a pareo that I'd tie around my waist. So I mean, like, I've been shopping in my bathing suit before, but like, it just looks like an outfit, so it's like not that big of a deal.
I see.
But yeah, let's go with the lewd art. I'd be fine with the lewd art.
Gotcha. People get the lewd art coming. Let's go. Let's make it go viral.
Well, have you ever actually seen the art? I have two pieces of art.
I've seen the one. I know. I think I know
the witch. There's one that's a witch, and then the other, it's just me. By the same artist. I'm not sure how you actually say his name, but we always call him Flam Jr. because that's what it looks like his name is. But and I asked him once how to pronounce it, and he said, just however you want. It doesn't matter. I don't care. So fun little story. When I was excited about creating my first model, I was so involved in the concept, I neglected booba. I didn't give any specifications on that, hence why this particular model doesn't appear to have any. And that's been a running joke with my chat all the time, is like, cat has no booba, but real cat has booba. Yeah. And so Flam Jr. releases this picture, and they're like, "No, we know where Cat's booba went. There they are."
I've seen that
he
picture.
Because he likes to draw them enormous on all of his art. If you look at all of his art, not just the art of me, but like any art of a female figure that he does, they're huge. And he's like, "I hope you don't mind." I was like, "No, I think it's great." I was like, "I forgot to give my model booba. I didn't tell my model mama that that I needed something up top. So I got nothing." And if you looked at the one that Nimue made for me, she solved that problem. There's a moderate amount of booba.
Yes, there is. There is a very nice amount.
They're not bigger than my head, like in the art, but they're tasteful. They're good.
Now,
oh yeah, Wispy, I bet. Wispy says you have no idea how hard it is to draw big boobs tastefully.
Yeah.
Well, you might, because you actually can do art. I can't do art.
I was about to say, I think I could. Wispy, I should send you
I
some
have
stuff.
an idea.
You know. But
you have an idea, but I don't. I'd be like, I can only imagine. I mean, because honestly, I've seen the tastefully done art with Big Booba, and then I've seen the like, really, are you kidding me art before. So I get it. It's like, yeah, it's got to be hard finding that middle ground and still making them appreciably large.
So, with this, I'm going to continue on to this follow this like slightly lewd path that we're going on, and I want
why not?
Have everybody, get the clip ready for whatever the answer to this next one is. So feel free to clip.
Oh boy.
I mean, you will openly do this. I already know. But
oh yeah, okay.
Would you rather do an Ada Ada or an Uwu voice right now?
I'll do either or. I'll do both if you want.
I mean, I don't think chat's going to say no, right, chat? We don't turn these down. We don't turn these down here.
All right. Okay. Ada Ada.
And then there's my Uwu voice. Uwu, it's so cute and little and high pitched, and it's just kind of annoying, but this one gets requested a lot, so Uwu, Uwu. There you go. And then there's the one that Zombro really likes, which is, "Hi, honey." Hello. Hi.
So there you go. And Ursa clearly doesn't appreciate the Uwu. She's very upset about it.
That was absolutely amazing. 10 out of 10. I'm holding back my laughter. Like, you did such a good
My
job.
kids hate the Uwu. My kids hate the Uwu one, and so like I'll be in the car and I'm like, "Well, it's time for me to practice my Uwu. Hi, Uwu."
Oh my god.
Do you think we should turn up here? I forgot where we're going. Why don't you tell me? Give me directions, because I'm so confused.
Well,
will you help me out, please?
You can either make your kids feel like, "Oh my god, mom, please stop," or you could be like, you could do the Ada Ada type voice and then make them be like, "Oh my god, this is the most awkward car ride of my life."
If she hates the Ada Ada, she'll do the Uwu with me.
Oh my god, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
It's kind of funny because if you happen to catch the stream where Wispy was in with me, where we were doing the Placid Plastic Ducks, you'd know what she sounds like. Wispy kind of sounds like BMO. If you've ever seen Adventure Time,
yeah,
she's got this very, very cute voice. She's adorable. She could definitely pull off the Uwu very easily. Oh yeah,
that's absolutely adorable. 100%.
But yeah, the Ada Ada is very, very popular. But yeah, my kids don't like that one either.
So I'm going to.
I'm an embarrassment to my family.
You're not an embarrassment. You're a ton of fun.
No, I am for everybody else, just to my family.
So I'm going to move on to what I like to call the personal questions. And this is where I mean, I feel like most of these we've kind of already answered to an extent, but I'm going to try and address some of them at least. And would you mind walking us through an average day in the life of Kat?
Okay, well, when I can get myself over my ADHD freezes, in the mornings, if I can stand to turn the air conditioning off long enough to do it, I do a little recording in my voice acting booth after breakfast. Because I've had to work to make a habit of actually eating breakfast, but I've gotten really good at it. I eat breakfast every day now. I tend to forget meals. It's one of those things that people with ADHD deal with a lot. I often forget to eat, but Bento's been pretty, adamant that I should get in a habit of actually regularly eating. I eat the healthiest in the house as far as the things I eat, with the exception of maybe V. Wispy eats pretty healthy too. But, because neither of us are terribly picky and we like things like vegetables. But I get so caught up in the things I'm doing, I forget to actually eat. So I actually started setting timers on my phone and stuff. But so I will make sure I eat breakfast, and then I go into the booth if I can stand to turn the AC off. But it's been so hot lately, it's harder to do that. But you can't have the air conditioning running while you're doing recording for voiceover, because the microphone that I use for that, it's not the same as this one. I'm using a Blue Yeti, which is not terribly sensitive, and it isolates your sound pretty well as for things like streaming. But it's not a high quality XLR, which is what I need for voice acting. But that one, like, I hear people in the other end of the house speaking quietly in my headphones when I turn that microphone on. So air conditioning would be like really, really overwhelming. So yeah, and would make it difficult for engineers to work with my recordings if they need to. So I have to turn off the air conditioner, and we've been in a heat wave. So it's, lately it's like, can I justify doing that when I'm not actually being paid for my work yet? I need to do it, but it's so hot. So, and I'm not great at early rising, but when I do manage to get out of bed early, then I do my recording. But I spend a little time reading every day or listening to an audiobook. I will do some cooking, watch some TikToks. Every now and then, watch some TV. I might go out to grab something to cook with, because I almost always forget something on a shopping trip, so I have to go, or I'll think of something in the middle of the week of like, you know what, it'd be really nice if I made this for dinner. I'm missing these 3 ingredients. I need to go and get them right now. Yeah, Wispy says she doesn't mind no AC, but everyone else here melts. Like I've mentioned before, Wispy's from Peru, so she's from a much warmer country, like year round, much warmer than we're accustomed to. And we live in the South right now, and we're melting. We're dying. We're all very. We're babies.
I was gonna say, that reminds me of something to ask you after stream, just for the fun convenience of it. But I think I'll save it till after stream based on stuff that was said. So
if it's a day that I'm streaming, I'll set up stream around, just before I start at 2:00. I used to stream at night, but like I mentioned to you yesterday, because I'm streaming off of Wi-Fi instead of a wired connection for now, since we moved into our new house earlier this year, and we haven't had an opportunity to get wired connections installed because there aren't any in this house. Just to avoid, having to share my bandwidth with everybody when I'm doing something like playing Final Fantasy 14 or something, which totally just bogs everything down, and it wrecks my stream. I don't stream in the evenings most of the time anymore, and that'll change eventually. But yeah, I'll set up my stream. I'll stream until about the time Bento comes home, which is usually around 5:00. Then, if it's my night to make dinner, I make dinner. If it's not, I'm usually reading, watching TikTok, or playing Final Fantasy 14 usually. Ooh. Or if there's a different game, sometimes there's for a while I was really deeply immersed in Baldur's Gate, and I may do another Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough again soon, just because I want to see what's different on another playthrough. Like I said, I like games that have a really good story, so
that's good to know. And I mean, honestly, yeah, go for it. It is a very good game, but sounds like you have quite the interesting day at least going on for you. So One thing I kind of want to get a little bit deeper with then is something this will be very positive, hopefully. What is one of your fondest memories?
Wow.
Oh,
Let me think.
I'm trying to get personal with this.
Oh yeah, I mean, like that's fine. It's just narrowing it down is tough.
Or whatever comes to mind. It doesn't have to be your fondest, but definitely something that, you enjoyed a lot.
Okay, so not long after I moved in with Bento, this is like 13 years ago. I had just recently graduated from university, and I had gotten my degree in anthropology. And one of the books that I wanted to read because I had watched several of her talks was a book by an anthropologist named Helen Fisher called Why We Love. And I'd seen several of her TED Talks recommended to me by one of my favorite professors. And she talked about the book and things about, basically they wanted to study what happens in the brain across various cultures when you're in a loving relationship. And it was fascinating to me. And I tend to I nerd out about academic stuff a lot. And I'm used to people just kind of going, and just kind of nodding along. And I know they're not really listening, but, got that ADHD hyperfixation thing going. And I've just got to like info dump. And there's the autism too, the info dump. That lovely, lovely autistic info dump. And
Yes,
I do it all the time.
Enjoy the info dump though.
Yeah, some do, but I grew up surrounded by people who did not. And I was sure he was not really listening, and I was telling him about this. And then one day, he was still in college, and one day he comes back to the apartment, and he says, I got you a present. And I was like, oh, what's the occasion? He goes, oh, I just saw this, and I thought it'd be something you'd want. And he'd gotten me her book. I still have that book.
Aww.
So yeah, I love that book. It's very, very good. And I don't read a lot of nonfiction outside of like, I sometimes read anthropology journals, but and occasionally articles on things like geology and stuff. But for the most part, as my books are almost all fiction. It's one of the few nonfiction books that I was just so incredibly excited to read. And he was listening, and he remembered the author and the name of the book. He's like, that's the book she wants. And he got that book and he brought it to me. And so, yeah, that's probably one of my fondest memories.
Aww, that's really sweet.
Yeah. He likes to act like he doesn't listen now. He's like, what? He does that to me all the time. It's like, were you listening to me? He's like, huh? And I'm like, you ass. But, that's one of that was one of the signs I knew that he really does listen to me, even if sometimes I think he's not. So, yeah.
That is, like I said, that is absolutely adorable, and I'm so glad you were willing to share that with us. So, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Now, going from something that I was very fond of to looking towards the future a little bit, then, what are some things then that are on your bucket list?
Oh gosh. Well, I am hoping to make my commercial demo in the next couple of years, and an animation and video game demo, but that requires me to take classes on animation and video game voice acting. But that takes about $250 I don't have to spare right now because owning a new house is expensive.
Yep.
So yeah, I've just gotta like wait until we can spare the money, and then I want to take a class with a really, really good voice actress named Angela Malhotra. She does video game and animation voice acting classes, and several of my voice actor friends have had classes with her, and they can't stop talking about just how good it is. So I'm really looking forward to taking that class, and hopefully, I want to be making my living as a voice actor within the next year or two. I mean, we get by on Bento's job. We do pretty well. I mean, we got a house. I mean, it takes up almost everything, and so things are really, really tight. And so it would be really nice if I had a decent income. But my goal is honestly within the next couple of years to be able to say, you know, I can cover all the bills. So if anything catastrophic happens, we're still good, you know? And that would have been nice already because like when we moved into this house, within 2 weeks it flooded. So I mean, just one room. It's a converted. It was a garage that was converted into a bedroom, and very poorly. But it's cost a lot of money to fix, and money that we couldn't really spare, and it was really tough. And so, yeah, that's looking to the future. I want to be able to say, you know, at a moment's notice, I can handle that. I can take care of it. He doesn't have to stress, and I can do it doing something that I really love doing because I really do love voice acting. I have a lot of fun with it. So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad at least you have kind of a plan and things that you're like kind of working towards that you'll be able to help with in the future. Sorry that your house though had to have flooded slightly. I mean, that must have.
It's okay.
Yeah, no,
yeah. Rougher for the kid who took that bedroom. But he's a good sport about it. And he's really into like doing Candyman stuff. So he's been pretty good about like helping to mitigate the issues, and he wants to help fix up the place later. But yeah, we've mostly taken care of it. But there's still one spot that floods when it rains. It did last night. But it was just, yeah, it's just a little bit of water comes under at the very on one side of the room, just one on the front of the house. A little bit of water comes in, like less than a foot into the room, and it's not like ankle deep or anything, but still, you know, after we spent a bunch of money on like having special drains put in and stuff, we hoped it would be done, but yeah, that it's not sealed very well there. When they converted the room, they didn't seal it very well, and we've tried a couple of things and we've had mixed success. Less water is getting in, so I mean, like, that's kind of a win. But we'll get there. But in the meantime, we just pulled up all the vinyl flooring, and he's got like garage floor in there, and he's like, this is fine. It's not great, but it's fine. And he put down a couple of rugs recently, and he was so proud of it. He's like, my room looks like a living space for the first time ever. And I was like, I think that has something to do with the fact that you're a 20-year-old living like a 20-year-old. But you're getting there. You're getting there. We've all had that awkward, you know, young adult space where it was maybe not up to what you might think of as real adult standards, but you know, 100%. It was yours. But it was yours. Yeah, and he's actually spent like the last several days cleaning it, and I was like, wow, you cleaned your room? And he was like, yeah, I'm actually kind of getting into it. And I was like, who are you?
Who are you? No.
It's like, you like cleaning your room? Who are you? But yeah, it's funny because I overheard him talking to his friends while he was doing it. He's like, because I mean, like, before he hit adulthood, I would buy all his blankets and pillows and stuff. That's what, you know, that's what a mom does, right? Mm-hmm. But I didn't know he had gotten rid of his old pillows, and all he had was, you know what a boyfriend pillow is?
Yeah.
The pillow that has, like, the little arms on it that you use for, like, sitting up and reading and watching television and stuff. Yep. He had one of those, and I didn't know because I don't spend time in his cave. I stay out of there. That's his place. It's his business. I'm not going in there, except to do laundry because our laundry room is attached to his bedroom. But I don't pay a lot of attention. It's his business, and I'm not going to mess around with it. But anyway, he had gone and bought a bunch of rugs, and he bought new pillows and pillowcases and stuff. And I hear him say, and I couldn't help but crack up when I heard this. He said, guys, this is unfucking believable. I actually have 2 real pillows on my bed. When did this happen? Oh my God. I was just like, he's like, this is so wild. It's so unbelievable. I was like, pillows, man. I was like, just wait till you're excited about buying your first appliance and you'll know you're really grown up.
I have pillows. Oh my God. Love that. No.
Yeah, Wispy, that's why we were talking about the boyfriend pillow. Because I didn't know that was his only pillow.
That is really funny, though. That is
Yeah.
really funny. So, one thing that I guess I kind of want to lead into as we get closer to the ending a bit is, what are some fun and interesting plans that you have coming up, whether they be streaming or IRL?
Well, I know tomorrow I'm doing a collab with Princess Dove. She just surprised me out of nowhere with an L2D model of me as a sumo wrestler. So, I mean, I guess between now and tomorrow, I'm gorging on a lot of cheese.
Let's go.
Gotta bulk up. Gotta bulk up before the big match. I'm still not entirely certain how this is supposed to work out, but we'll figure it out. So yeah, you're gonna see me in a sumo wrestler match tomorrow.
Sumo cat.
Sumo cat. But I basically I'm going to be streaming through the end of the month. I'll be recording a song for your karaoke stream.
Woo.
But then I may take some time off for a little while until we can get the better connection going and use that time to create some actual like video content. Maybe do some, instead of doing reading streams, I might just read some classics and put them on YouTube as a sort of audiobook stream kind of thing that anybody can access whenever they want to. Maybe make some TikToks and things like that while I wait for the better connection, because frankly, there's a lot more interest in my streams when I do it at night than it is, in the middle of the afternoon, because people are working. Some people can pull off the midday stream. That doesn't seem to be me, and that's okay. But it also allows me to spend more time working on my voice acting and improving my skills in the areas of video and audio editing. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for being interested in my karaoke thing, and I'm hoping that your bulk up weight doesn't stick when you are able to easily get rid of it when you're done. Or if you know what, if maybe you'll like the look, maybe you'll stick with all the weight.
Well, I look at it this way. For Halloween, I turned into a zombie, courtesy of Zombro. And the magic of the library restores me to my lovely, youthful, healthy state when Halloween is over. So the library will do its thing. I won't keep the cheese weight on. It's not a big deal. So yeah, bulk up for a day, do a sumo thing, and then go back to being a dainty little librarian. I can do that. Yeah, it'll work.
You can do it. I have full faith in you. Your magic library will give you all the assistance you need.
Absolutely.
And
good like that.
With that,
it's the Brie. She's right. She's right.
The Brie.
I almost always have a wheel of Brie in the fridge. I need to buy more. I'm out. But yeah, do love the Brie. Ooh.
Gotcha. We
it's
got
one of
the
my
favorite
favorites.
cheese. The mouse-like Brie, everybody. Mouse-like Brie.
Oh yeah. What's really good? You wrap that Brie in. If you wrap the Brie in puff pastry, with a layer of your favorite jam. My favorite, I like the pepper jelly. You can put some pepper jelly on it and wrap it in puff pastry and bake it. Super good. Eat it with crackers or veggies or whatever. It's awesome.
Well, this brings me to my final question.
Sure.
Is there anything you would like to add or plug before we close out? Even though you kind of did that slightly in the previous question.
I think I've pretty much already done that. So yeah, we're good.
Aw. Well, I would at least like to thank you so very much for being here with me this evening. I really appreciated it. It was an absolute pleasure to be able to interview you and hear all of your various interests and different tastes on books and everything. So,
and thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. And I know chat very much also enjoyed having you here, and also Wispy is hilarious. Just throwing that out there.
She is really funny. Yeah.
Now, the unofficial last question that I ask is there anyone that you would like for us to raid this evening?
Oh, gosh. Give me just a sec. Let me see.
I'm going to post 2 raid messages. One for followers and 1 for subscribers. So, there we go. It should work this way. You will
Well,
Aw, thank you for the follow, Wispy. I appreciate you. Yeah.
There's a VTuber that I recently saw during the Black VTuber Awards shows. She does a lot of like charity streams and stuff. Tiffany Witcher.
Tiffany.
She's really great, and she's currently streaming. So let's rate her.
Sounds good to me. Well, thank you everybody for being here, and once again, thank you, Kat, for being on this interview with me, and I hope all of you have a fantastic rest of your evening. Night, everybody.
Thanks so much for having me. Good night, guys. Mermoose raid, I love it.